Hi, my name is Collette Lemieux. I teach statistics and analytics in the Faculty of Business Communication Studies and Aviation, and my teaching tip is to think about your final exam and why you do it. I teach a statistics and analytics course, and we redesigned the course about 5 years ago, and one of the key components that we wanted to do was to get away from it being a course on pure calculation. So calculate the mean, calculate the standard deviation, calculate the p-value, and instead getting to what does the mean actually tell us? What does the p-value actually tell us? Really what we want them to do is make sense of the data and to present the results in a way that makes sense to others. When we were looking at the final exam we used to have, which was a 3-hour in-person, usually written in the gym, we realized that wasn't meeting our learning outcomes. We had spitballing, came up with different ideas, and really what we realized is if the goal is to have them think about what the data means, then we needed to do, instead of a final exam, a final assignment. So we had to really think, what would be a cool exam that we could get them to do that really met the learning outcomes of the course? So we have a final exam that is focused on regression, that has them do a bunch of other things in it. We use the aspect that because it's data, we get them to take a random sample of the data, so all the students are working with a different random sample. And then one of my colleagues at Bio came up with the idea of let's make them do a video presentation, which addresses some of the concerns that we often have around plagiarism and cheating. But really, when I look at that final exam, I look at it and I say, if this is a summative assessment of what my students are supposed to demonstrate to me about their understanding of the course, this assessment actually does that. The feedback that I get from students around having a final assignment is they find it significantly less stressful. You can hear when I announce it in class, the relief, because they do find final exams so stressful and they find that period so stressful. So knowing that we give them 7 days to complete the final assignment, and we talk about time management. So look at your schedule of final exams where you are going to be writing in them in person or other kinds of assessments you might have, and strategize. When should I be working on it? Can I make sure that I have enough time? And we talk about it. One thing that I think is important in this is recognizing that when you're doing a take-home final exam, cheating is obviously, and rigor are things that we need to be thinking about. So we've really tried to include parts, and I think that this is important when you're trying to avoid cheating, is the part where so the way we do it is tell me what this means. We found that by asking them to say, what does this mean to you, or what does this tell you, that we get more personal responses. So for somebody in, say, the English department or somewhere else where they're maybe writing essays, is perhaps including a reflective piece, where this is how I made sense of this, or this is where I struggled on this text, or something along those lines, where it's not just repeating something, and it'd be hard for, say, ChatGPT to come up with a reasonable answer because it's personal to you and it's you making sense of it. And so I think that would be a really important part of thinking about how could this be scalable beyond a statistics class, is thinking about how can you ask some questions that are getting them to do some critical thinking on themselves, so some meta thinking on their own work and their own progress in the course, for example, or thinking about how they can take the text or whatever beyond what that specific situation is, I think can help as well.